Hi everybody, happy Friday. This week we have been doing a lot with long vowels, and in some of the words there are letters that don't make any sound. And when there's a letter in a word that doesn't make any sound, we call it a silent letter. Can you say that? Silent letter. 'Cause silent means you can't hear the sound that the letter makes. So for today's fun Friday read aloud, I chose the book Silent Letters, Loud and Clear by Robin Pulver, illustrated by Lynn Rowe Reed, and it's a scholastic book. So listen along with me. This book has lots of detail and it really shows us which letters are silent and which letters we can hear in different words. All right, so as I'm reading, I'll hold up the book and you feel free to pause so you can look and see which silent letters you can find. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Silent letters, loud and clear. Every day in Mr. Wright's classroom, without fuss or bother, the silent letters waited to take their positions for the spelling words. They never called out me, me, me. When it was their turn, they crept into their places without a sound. And this one says, we're not shy, we're just tight-lipped, which means tight-lipped. We laugh a lot when we're together, but we know when to be silent too. I'll climb on here. It says sight, daughter, thumb. And I'll hold the page up so you can see some of the other silent letters. Like Mr. Wright's class or Magic E. Magic E at the end of the word is silent. Sometimes people call it silent E. Often, silent E was chosen last. I'm no knight in shining armor. I'm just doing my job. It says knee, knuckle. So this silent letter is silent letter K. So the word knee starts with a K, but you can't hear it. And knuckle, like your knuckles on your hand. And wrinkle, can you hear a W? No. Fine with me, I like being last. You see the word like has magic E and fine. I long for you. Who can turn fin into fine? Who can turn fin into fine? Silent E can, silent E can. One day, Mr. Wright checked his wristwatch. That wraps up our spelling lesson, he said. Remember, a mistake or two doesn't mean you're a bad speller. It means you've almost spelled the word right. Now let's give a cheer for silent letters. On this page it says, the silent letters waited. But no cheer came. The silence was deafening. Until the kids started complaining. Mr. Wright, why do we have to use silent letters in spelling at all? We can't hear them. Silent letters are a pain. Silent letters make spelling too hard. If that's how you feel, said Mr. Wright, you should send an email to the newspaper. Make your opinions known. Neat idea, said the kids. Kate sat down at the computer. The other kids helped her decide what to write. Get this page first so you can find those silent letters. Now let's look at the email. Dear editor, Mr. Wright says good spellers are made, not born. But we don't like silent letters. We can't hear them, so who needs them? Why use them? Silent letters should be banned. I hope you print this. We hope people will read it and agree that we are quite right. Hopefully yours, Mr. Wright's class. P.S. Kate wrote this. Can you see all the silent letters in there? I wonder what's going to happen. The silent letters were dumbfounded. Silent GH sighed. I thought we were important. I know we are, muttered Silent K. Now my stomach is in knots. Silent W wrung his hands. I'm a wreck. I feel wretched. I don't know how I feel, said Silent B. I'm numb. Silent E said, I'm at the end of my rope. See if you can find some of those silent letters that I read. We're all in the same boat, groaned Silent A. Let's leave. The silent letters high-fived. Just before Kate pressed send, the silent letters sneaked out of the kid's email. Let's hide in the supply closet, said Silent E. We'll be safe. And out of sight, said Silent GH. I've got a flashlight. The silent letters nestled in the cave-like darkness. I wonder what's going to happen to the letter if there's no to the letter they wrote if there's no silent letters in there. Those kids shouldn't blame us. We used to be pronounced once upon a time. In the time of pterodactyls, asked Silent P. See the word pterodactyls? Silent P. Not quite so long ago, said Silent E. Probably in the times of knights and castles. The silent letters didn't want to suffer in silence anymore. They wanted to speak up for themselves, but how? What could they do? What do you think? Fight with all our might. Scream like a bad dream. Bright idea. But the silent letters had to admit they weren't the fighting or screaming types. Finally, G said, we could use sign language. Bright idea. Everything they needed was right there in the supply closet. The next day, Mr. Wright's class couldn't wait to check the newspaper. They opened right to the editorial page. Our letter, it's here, shouted Joe. We're famous. The kids gave a cheer loud and clear. But when they started to read it, it was the kids' turn to be silent. Let's see what it reads like without those silent letters. Are you ready? Okay. Dear editor, Mr. Wright says good spellers are mad, not born. But we don't lick silent letters. We can't hear them, so Ho needs them. We us them. Silent letters should be banned. We hop you print this. We hop people will read it and agree that we are quit writ. Hopefully yours, Mr. Writt's class. P.S. Cat wrought this. Now compare that to what they meant to write. Do you know where the silent letters aren't anymore? Can you find an example? Finally, the kids got their voices back. What happened? Somebody messed up our email. What's hopefully? What's this about a band? Who's Mr. Wright? Cat rot? This letter is embarrassing. The kids were even more embarrassed when they read the editorial next to their letter. Huh? What? Fire Mr. Wright. Of course good spellers are mad. So are we. Our readers don't have time to figure out messages with sloppy spelling. The only reason we're printing this letter is to highlight the spelling crisis in our schools. The editors. The kids gathered around Mr. Wright, who was pale and sagging. It's not your fault. Suddenly, the knob on the supply closet turned. The door creaked open. Out marched the silent letters. They were carrying protest signs they had made. They looked brave. Can you read some of the signs? And they put the silent letters in different colors so you could see. Like it says, don't knock silent letters. Silent letters are mighty fine, not mighty fin. Silence is golden. Protect our right to remain silent. Thumbs up for silent letters. They're back, the kids cheered loud and clear, but Mr. Wright burst into grateful tears. Do you see their protest signs? Right away, with the help of the silent letters, Mr. Wright's students wrote another letter to the editor. Winner of the Golden Pen Award, Best Letter of the Week. Dear editor, never fear, the future looks bright for spelling. We made peace with silent letters. We have learned to bravely face our mistakes. Our teacher says the answer is knuckle down and practice. As usual, Mr. Wright is right. Your friends, Mr. Wright's kids and silent letters. Not perfect yet, but brave try. The quiet ones always surprise you, they say. The end. I hope you enjoyed the book Silent Letters, Loud and Clear by Robin Pulver, illustrated by Lynn Rowe Reed, a scholastic book. I hope that you go through this book and you pause so you can look at the pictures and find as many silent letters as you can find. All right, I hope you have a great weekend.